Today we go behind the scenes on a listing that our team just sold for 100% of listed price, and we ended up selling it in record time, 8 days on the market, and we ended up getting multiple offers. And I'm going to share with you everything that went in behind the scenes, how we prepared to yield these numbers for our clients and get it sold in record time. So let's go. So when we met with our client, it was important we did a thorough market analysis on this home. We needed to look at everything that was going on around in the surrounding neighborhoods in Oakville. This property happens to be in the Glen Abbey neighborhood. We looked at the neighbor that just sold and the neighbor property that just sold for $995. So it was important to build that number as, that would reflect the market value of this particular subject property, also to sell around that $995,000 mark. We looked at all the other homes in the surrounding communities of Oakville, in the single car garage, similar square footage, similar layout, what they had sold for in the last 90 days. We were looking at what was on the market right now in similar categories. We looked at how long they were on the market and how long they were taking to sell. We were looking at the listed price to the sold price, the ratio, where they were at, in also defining a competitive pricing model. It's very important to factor all these numbers into the equation before you decide on a price. In addition to this, our client had $75,000 that they were willing to invest in upgrading the property. So we ran some analysis to determine if it would be worth investing the $75,000 in upgrading the property. And again, you run the same analysis to see if the $75,000 of investment would return a higher yield for our client. So in our assessment, we came up that removing the wallpaper and repainting the house, adding a few pot lights, changing the kitchen, sprucing up all of the washrooms, and what we ended up doing was adding third washroom in the basement with a shower. Those were the big renovation projects. There was some carpet that was removed as well, and new flooring was laid. So all of this stuff helped improve the value. And at the end of the day, the property was sold for $1,169,000. The neighbor just sold for $995,000. So the difference was $174,000 above the neighbor who sold just the other day. Our client spent $75,000 and they made $174,000. So, the renovations did yield a higher return. Now, it's important when you're looking at renovating, you do the right things. Coming into a fall winter market, renovating the outside may not have full effect. You may not get its full potential. So, kitchens and washrooms and paint, freshening it up, sprucing it up, added a lot of appeal in this case. Okay, and then some of the other things we did were we were fortunate enough where the client was able to move on to their new home and provide us with the property as a vacant property, so we could have our team run in there and renovate the whole place very quickly. We did that in 3 weeks actually, and then over and above that, a full staging proposal came in here where we had our designer come through and look at the property and lay it out very nicely. So a nice staging job was definitely done. And then we also used professional photography and drone photography as this property backed onto a green ravine, I guess. And it was important to showcase all of that in the videos. And during the sale, we listed it on multiple real estate platforms. We had a full online exposure happening. We used targeted social media ads. Anytime a lead came in, we would take that lead and add it into a campaign, trying to bring them back to the house and trying to get them to come and see the property at the end of the day. We had open houses as well. We ended up getting 12 people come through the open house, and 3 of them were actually relatively interested in the property. None of them made an offer at the end of the day, but 3 of them were interested in the property. We leveraged our real estate network, our agents network, agents in Oakville, agents who had similar properties. We leveraged that. And one of the other very important things that we did was we had 41 showings at this property. It was important in the early part to get a lot of feedback from the buyers, from the buyer agents. Look at any market trends that might have changed as we have gone live. And using this feedback, we were again able to strategize or manipulate certain things to make it strategically advantageous for our client's listing. So using that feedback, again, 41 showings, 12 people through the open house, and 2 offers. Okay, we did not have an offer date. This was not listed low. We ended up getting 2 offers, multiple offers, and we ended up selling the property for $900 under asking price. So pretty much 100% of listed price, which is amazing for our client. And we did this in 8 days, keeping in mind that we're in a very slow market. Okay, so what did we learn from this process? Taking on a larger scale project like this, it was very important that our contractors were on point, because our client has moved on and the property was vacant. So it was important to get this done very quickly before it got too cold and we were able to sort of hit that October, November market before we get into December. Otherwise we would, things could have slowed down a lot more. It was important to have the staging and the pre-home inspection, all that stuff done while the workers were at the last stages of the game. So it is very well coordinated by our team, and we were able to achieve this for our client. And I know at the end of the day, our client is ecstatic. They are very excited to have moved on and to know that they were able to sell for $174,000 more than their immediate neighbor in the same market. So it's very important, the team you work with, that they are knowledgeable and they understand the market and they're able to forecast and are able to guide you in adding improvements, whatever they may be. They do not have to always be $75,000, sometimes a couple of little tweaks, but those little tweaks need to help you, the seller, get as much money for your property as possible. And as always, who you work with matters.